Hello, welcome to a demonstration on the top 10 Excel shortcuts for analyzing data using the control key on your keyboard. Now, there are so many functionality in Excel that you can actually use using the control key on your keyboard and a variety of letters. Now we begin with Control A. Control A, you actually use it for the purpose of selecting the data set that you actually have. But have to make sure that your pointer is somewhere inside the data. And then all you do is you hold the control key down and press A. That's actually the easiest way whenever you're using the control key. You just hold the control key down. That way you are actually in control, and then press any other corresponding letter or the relevant character that you actually want to use. You can see here the data set has actually been selected. Now the next one is Control L. Now you notice that Control L and Control T are actually put next to each other because they all do exactly the same function. If you wanted to convert your data set into a table so that you've got more functionality for sorting, filtering data, etc., etc. So all you do is Control L. You can see that it opens up a dialog box for you for create table and does show you that it's actually selected the data set itself. And then once you just say OK, you'll be able to see that there's some list arrows showing there to show that now have some additional functionality. If you want to do some sorting, if you want to do some filtering by column, you're actually able to do that. All right, so here I can go ahead and say undo, right, just to reverse what I just did. Now Control T does exactly the same thing as well. You can see that it performs exactly the same function. So again, it's either you can use Control L or Control T. Now Control T is the much more conventional approach to activating, a table, whereas Control L, it's usually not known by many. Now, in addition to actually using the control keys, if, for example, your mouse was actually working, then you can actually go and use the insert table. It does exactly the same thing as well. Okay, right. But now, bear in mind that the reason why we're using the control function is when, for example, for whatever reason, your mouse stops to function and you just wanted to finish off whatever activities you were working on, on your document, you can actually use the keyboard itself instead of the mouse. So these are some of the functions that enable you to continue to finish off whatever you'll be working on. Okay, now the next one is Control N. This one is self-explanatory because N stands for new, right? So it means if you want to create a new workbook, you just Control N, which is the equivalent to Control New, right? And of course, it opens up a new workbook for you. All right. What's the next one? The next one is Control O. That's if you wanted to open a file. Let's say, for example, you're actually working here and you know there's another file that you actually want to open. So instead of you using the file function there, you can just use Control and O, and then it takes you back here. Then you'll be able to locate wherever your file is. In some cases, you can actually change your mind, say, oh, I want to go back home, or I want to open a new file. You'll be able to do that here as well. All right, so that's actually one way of doing that. Now, the next one is Control Q. It enables you to open a quick analysis tool that's actually available in Excel. Whenever you're working on any data set and you wanted just to do some quick analysis, this is a very cool feature that you can actually use. So all you do is Control Q, and you'll see that it opens up a dialog box here with all the functionality that you actually need. Notice that what it did, it actually to select the entire data set, and then below that, it's actually able to show you that you can do some formatting on this data. You can do some charts on this data. You can do some totals. You can do tables. You can also do some spark lines. So while we are here, you can see it's an alternative way of for creating a table as well. In addition to Control L and Control T, you can also create a table while you're actually here as well with this particular function. And then of course, spark lines if you want it to be a little bit colorful, right? So quick analysis tool can really come in handy because it gives you some starting point just in case you have no idea how you want to analyze your data. It gives you some ideas right away once you activate it. Now, the alternative way of actually activating the control, rather the quick analysis tool, is actually to select the data set itself. When you select it, you'll see that the icon will pop up for the quick analysis tool. And then when you click on it, it opens that as well. So that's actually an alternative way of actually doing that. Okay, what else do we have here? The next one is Control D. Control D simply means you want to duplicate values that are in a cell above the current cell. So, for example, here I am on this particular cell here, and I want to duplicate NY, which is what is in the previous cell. So I can just Control D. You can see here I've actually been able to duplicate, right? Now then, at times you may find that I may say, well, I do not want to do that. Then I can say undo. Now undo, you can also do Control Z does undo, and then Control Y is actually a redo. Okay, and again, those are basically the same functions as what you see up here on the top. You can undo, you can redo. So again, you can see that the shortcuts are also provided there. The undo is actually Control Z, and the redo is actually Control Y. Okay, so by just doing this alone, we've actually been able to cover Control D, which is duplicate, and we've been able to also cover Control Y and Control Z. Now, obviously, Control R is not being talked about. Now, Control R, what it actually does, it duplicates values in a cell that are on the same row. Okay, so in this particular case, for example, if we're going to do Control R, you'll see that it is actually duplicated what is actually to the left of this particular cell. So it follows the row, whereas earlier the Control D, it actually follows the column. That's the main difference right there. And then of course I can undo that. Then finally, Control H. Control H enables you to find and replace values, right? So when you do Control H, you see it opens up a dialog box, and then you'll be able to find whatever you're looking for, and then you can insert the value that you want to replace it with down there. And in some cases, you can have a series of a value that's actually occurring over and over again, and you can replace everything in the file, or you can do one at a time. Otherwise, that concludes just a quick overview of the top 10 Excel shortcuts for analyzing data using Control key. Thank you so much for watching. And again, remember to like the video, share the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and bye for now.